I can fix that. There we go. That should be good now. I was saying good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever everybody may be, and going to continue this on Wednesday afternoons, noontime Eastern here in the States, and whatever time it is, wherever you are. So I said I had to grab me a cookie. That's my lunch today. Battling some problems at home, plumbing issues. So let's see. So let me go back through who we have in here. James, thanks for the pizza, man. Let's see. David, good to see you. Jesprit, good to see you. Roy Bigsby from Down Under. Hope things are well for you down there. It's probably a better time slot for you too. Right now, I would guess. I don't know exactly what time it is there. All right. And I was just saying, camera news. Europe's beginning to see a trickle of Z9s. That's good news for everybody there. I know it may not be as quick as everybody wants, but at least they are starting to receive those cameras. I think that the emphasis shifted a little more away from the U.S. over to Europe. And I haven't heard anything from Asia, but Asia seemed to be receiving cameras. So that's the news on the Z9 front. I know everybody's excited about the new 400 2.8 TC. That's going to be an exotic lens for certain. It's going to probably check the block for a lot of people that were bouncing between 4 and 600, since it will not quite reach 600 millimeter. However, with the TC in it, I think you wind up with 560 millimeters. So that looks like a really exciting lens. It's unfortunately out of my budget, but hopefully we'll get to see some of those in the field here before long. 4 a.m. Okay, so it's not the best time in the world, Roy. Sorry about that. It's just hard to meet the timeline where it's convenient for everybody. And you guys aren't having any supply problems. Good. Yeah, not knowing when your Z9 will ship is crazy. And I think that we're beginning to see a few people decide that they're just not going to wait. And for the Z9, that is. I've seen quite a few videos, people talking about they're just going to move on to other things, and maybe things that meet their need better. Chris Stu Blue just did a video. It just landed this morning. And I'd encourage everybody to go over to Stu Blue's channel and watch what he has to say about the Z9. Not that there's anything wrong with the Z9, but he's chosen to go a different route, and that's okay. Saving up for the 2 to 600, James. Yeah, long focal. Yeah. So I know everybody's really curious as to what that 200 to 600 is going to be like. Curious to see myself. I did get the 100 to 400, and I have the TC 2.0 to go with it, and still need to really get out and shoot with that more before I start talking about, how it is. Preliminary look at the lens, and on the Z9, it's pretty phenomenal. I'm really happy with it. And with the TC 2.0, there will be some things that we'll talk about as soon as I can really shake it out. I know that you're not going to be able to shoot. It's native f11 with the TC in line, but you're probably looking at 18 to 22 as far as aperture for best results, which means you're going to need a lot of light or a lot of ISO. So I'll shake that out and give you guys my opinion on it here before too long. Our weather just began to break, and now we got another big snowstorm coming in Friday, which I'm not happy about because I can't keep my drive clear, and it melts a little bit during the day on the few days we did get above freezing. So now it's a sheet of ice with snow on top of it. All right. James, you just watched Chris. Yeah, it's a good video, and you know I respect his decision as of right now for what he's doing with cameras. Looks like it's going to suit his needs. The ZFC is what he chose to go with for right now. I know that's a big departure from the Z9, but considering all the capabilities of the ZFC, he seems to be happy with it and look forward to more and more content produced with it by him. He's always fun to watch anyway. Jeffrey, Z9 getting delivered tomorrow, non NPS. Uh, yeah, the 500 PF works great on the Z9, even with the 1.4 TC, and he's shooting at f8. Yeah. And I think that's the case. Anytime a TC is in line, that's something a lot of people, you guys might realize this, but a lot of people don't. They don't understand that with a TC, you're going to have to stop the lens down even more. That's why when you put a TC in line, you'll notice most aperture ranges extend all the way up to f35. So I noticed that with my 400 2.8 D lens. I had to stop it down to about f22 to really get good photos. So, but that's with the old lens and the old TC. That was with the 1.7 in the f mount. Morning, Hassan. How are you? Z9's the first mirrorless I've tried to tried that autofocus at f11. Is that with the TC in line, or are you talking about just with the? Just trying the autofocus at f11. Yeah, one of the nice things about the mirrorless system now is that you can autofocus at a larger, or I'm sorry, a smaller aperture, and that's a good thing. So. Hey guys, just to let you know, the call line is open, and anybody wants to call in and give their opinion on whatever, it doesn't matter. Whatever your questions or comments are, you talk to the audience, that's fine. Let's see. Oh, straight with your 600 f4. Okay. Thanks, James. I wish a lot of other people thought that too, but I appreciate it. I really do. And I haven't given up on my continuing battle with Nikon and their communication. Somebody had made a comment about, well, you got your Z9 and you're happy. Yeah, I am happy I got my Z9, but the bigger battle is just with Nikon and their communication and their marketing. And I noticed a lot of people picked up on that because I've seen quite a few videos where they're mentioning the same thing. Everybody's a little leery of maybe they saw it as bad mouthing Nikon, and it is. I'm not leaving Nikon because of it. I'd rather they just communicate with us, those that actually purchase their products, and talk to us a little more. So there's a new firmware update for the Z9. I don't know how much it's going to affect anything. I haven't updated mine yet. Some people were concerned about it could have that those hidden nuggets of not allowing third-party batteries or lenses or whatever. I don't know if there's any of that in this new firmware update, but I know people were talking about some of their third-party batteries. The BL18 series for the flagship cameras not working. I don't have any third-party batteries for the Z9, but I do have two remaining older batteries from my D4 and D5 that were extras, and they work just fine in the camera. I did notice one. I charge it to 100%. I put it in the camera, and the camera says it's at 48%. But I haven't exercised it yet to find out if it's a true 48% or it's just not reading the battery charge correctly. And that's with the old A version of the battery. So we'll see. Nikon arrogance, even MPS members getting ignored. Yeah, they are, Roy. But I think that the MPS members that are being ignored aren't really ignored. They didn't meet the deadline that NPS set, at least here in the States, uh, of 19 December, I believe it was. So they put their order in after the 19th, and they're not happy that they're not receiving their cameras immediately since the cameras are shipping. I think that's the case. I don't know of anybody that had an early NPS order that didn't get it. I haven't seen anybody comment on that yet. So, uh, Charles, I only use third party batteries if the OEM ones are all depleted and only in my lower end bodies. Okay. Yeah, I guess in the Z9 though, it's not accepting third party batteries, and that's the new chip uh, tech in the batteries and the camera. If it doesn't recognize the battery, then it just rejects it. It won't work. Z9 doesn't like OEM in EL18 batteries. Um, yeah, I haven't had a problem with. I have a version of the EL18 and a B version, and both work in the camera. Like I said, though, I don't know whether it's reading the charge rate on the battery correctly, if that's just a glitch in the firmware or software, or if for whatever reason that battery could be no good too. But I'm gonna test it. I'm gonna push it to its limit and just see what I can get out of it, even though it reads 48% when I charged it to 100%. So now I can put a statement out on the batteries. Sorry, I'm reading your comments here. And yeah, batteries are always going to be a big deal. I don't know that they'll put a statement. They may have put a statement out, and I just haven't read it or found it yet on third-party batteries for the Z9. So yeah, the 50% could be old or fake. I agree, Roy. I'm going to have to test it to see if it if it lasts as long as the D version, then maybe it's just the camera's not reading the charge right for whatever reason, because it is an older battery. The other battery charges to 100%. I put it in the camera. That's the B version, and it will read 98% in the camera. Where the new D version, obviously, that came with the camera, reads 100% once it's charged. So, yep, it can use the external USB or USB-C battery pack. Yep, and that is a nice touch. The one thing that I don't have for flagship cameras with the larger batteries is the phony battery and run it off DTAP, which I may purchase here down the road. I don't see the Z9, my Z9, being a long video production camera, not for my use. So I may not have to worry about external power for anything that I do. Jeffrey says you never use off-brand battery. Let's see. Bought one for the D850 menu system. Electronics went nuts. Yeah. Yeah, I don't either. I don't buy any of the third-party batteries. I know a lot of people do, and they've had a lot of success with them. I just don't. But then again, I don't buy a lot of third-party lenses for my cameras either. Not that there's anything wrong with them. I just stick with Nikon. 18C batteries work really well, except with less lifespan. Okay. All right, Roy. Let's see. Jeffrey, I asked Nikon a while back confirming that the use of the battery bank does not void the Nikon warranty. Wrote back yesterday confirming no warranty issues using a battery bank. Okay. Sorry, I'm going to eat in front of you guys. I'm starving. Mm. Okay, James. Mike, thanks for the prayers and granddaughter. Yeah, you got it, buddy. Always. Yeah. I don't mind being in prayer for anybody that needs that. Z9 can run for a few hours, internal battery while shooting 8K. Yeah, you're right. And Jaspreet, that's what I'm saying is I don't think I'm going to need external power. I may. I did buy the small rig cage because it makes it so much easier to mount all these peripherals on the camera when you need it, even though I haven't put it on the camera yet. Mm. Yeah, batteries. Are you, James? Are you talking about the new battery, the D? They are out of stock everywhere. I even looked just to see if I might want to purchase one to have on hand, which I will do, I'm sure, but not. It's not going to be anytime real soon, since I can always burn through the old batteries and then rely on the backup of the original or the new D version. So I have the dummy batteries for the D850, which of course works with the D500. I have the dummy battery for, well, it's the same thing for the Z6 and Z6 II, which I'm using right now on the Z6, which I'm using as the camera for the stream. So Roy, you tried it with the just using a USB bank? That's good. Yeah, that's one of the things that everybody's realizing right now is, may have been part of the reason for Nikon going to the full body again, flagship size body. Um, but those batteries last forever. When I shot with my D4 and my D5, I never ever had a problem with battery life, and that's shooting all day long. 3 or 4 thousand photos. So the ENL 18C charges in camera. I don't know if I have an 18C. I think I have the A and a B, but I'll have to check. I didn't know that. I didn't think that it would. I thought only the D version, the new one, would charge in camera. That's interesting. Uh, yeah, Mike, $5,500 camera with off-brand batteries. Yeah, and I understand the batteries are expensive. I think it's $220 for that new EL18D. And I understand why people would want to cut some corners on cost. But I've never done it. So I take that back. I think I did buy a Watson battery once and had no luck with it in camera. I think that was with my D850. The Z50 cannot be powered externally. I didn't know that either, James. Hmm. Jeff Jeffrey getting a spare Z9 battery tomorrow. Okay. Burger Brothers. Let me throw this up there in case anybody's interested. Um, because I know people are looking for things. And if you have a tip on where something is in stock, throw it up here. We'll put it up on the screen and let everybody have a chance to see it. For those that aren't watching or just listening, Jeffrey says, try Burger Brothers camera in Long Island, New York. They may still have some of the EL18D batteries, the new batteries. Thanks, Jeffrey. Um, yeah, they cost a fortune, Mike. But that's always been the case with those batteries. It's the old adage: you get what you pay for. Um, it's not like you have to have a handful of them, like with the D850 or Z6 or Z62, Z7. If you're going to be using the camera all day long and doing a lot of video, you either have to have some external power or you need a handful of batteries. With the EL18 series, they last forever, and you pay a premium for them. The Z6 battery grip charges the batteries. Maybe the Z50 grip does too. Interesting. So there you go, James. That might be something to look at. I haven't even looked at the battery grips for any of the mirrorless cameras that Nikon's produced so far. I don't know whether I know there was a big to do about not having a battery grip initially with the Z6 and Z7. And then the battery grip that they released didn't have any controls, and everybody was complaining about that, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know. Yeah, D850 does not like. You're absolutely right. And like I said, I think I bought the Watson. So I did buy a third-party battery, as I remember. James says he doesn't see it listed on Burger right now. It could be that they're gone. And as you know, this information trickles out, there are a lot of people that are going to go jump on that opportunity, and then they're gone. Let's see. Yeah, V-mount battery, frame Voyager, you're absolutely right. And that's why I say I picked up a cage for the Z9 just so I can do that, even though I don't have the dummy battery. But I guess now that's something I have to look at, is just using the USB-C port on the camera to charge it from a V-mount. And I've got several V-mount batteries just for that, because I built a video rig for my Z6, and the V mount will power everything, including the camera, and that's the Atomos Ninja 5 and any other power needs. So it makes it a real nice little compact, lightweight run and gun rig. And Frame Voyager, I want to talk to you about that, buddy. If you give me a call, I want to talk to you about some of these things. And this is what I was talking to you about in the email. For those of you that don't know, I reached out to Frame Voyager and asked him if he would be a guest, and he's willing to do that. We're just going to work out what we need to talk about on Saturday, and I hope you all will join us. So it's going to be video centric. And if you haven't checked out his page, let me throw him up here with his comment. If you haven't checked out his page, do so. And I would suggest starting off with his camera news playlist. I love it. And I think it's fantastic. I love your energy. I just love everything about it. Now, he shoots black magic, so no big deal there. What I want to bring to the live stream is all his video creativity, and talking about that. That's something we can all share no matter what brand you shoot, is the creativity with the cameras. And that's what I hope we're going to get on Saturday night. And I look forward to it. All right. If shooting stills on the Z9, you see, shot all day, only had 30% battery power used. People are really happy. Yeah. Again, the battery, if you've never owned a flagship camera, at least in the Nikon's camp, you're going to love that battery. And even the battery grips for the D850, D500, they use the EL18 batteries as well. And man, you can shoot all day long on either camera with that battery grip and the EL18. V mount is it's just the mount. Actually, we call these. Hang on a minute. Yep. Hang on a second. Right here, James. And you can buy these in all different configurations, sizes now, and watt hours. And this thing will power everything on my Z6 rig for about 4 hours continuous. That's the Atomos Ninja 5. the camera itself, and anything else that requires power, you can use this. And you may not have heard of the term DTAP, but there are cables that you can use that are made specifically for different brand cameras and everything else. And this will give you power for many hours compared to everything running off an internal battery. They come in another mount type, but V mount is probably the most used. Let's see, where are we at here? Yeah, V mount, mostly video cameras, fairly expensive. They're not cheap. I will grant you that they are not cheap. But if you're in a position where you need to power more than just the camera, even the camera, whatever it is you need to power, it's great external power for your accessories and everything else. And it gives you a lot more life than just using the internal batteries. All right, Frame Voyager, I'm looking forward to it too. I really am. And trying to bring a little more diversity to the channel here and talk about some of the things that other people are interested in. I've been a big, I've promoted video in the new hybrid cameras. And I think that that's the life of any system now, is providing good video in whatever brand you're in. And Nikon had been definitely behind on video capabilities and cameras, although a lot of people will say, no, it's just fine. And it is okay. But anyway, the Z9 brought about a whole lot more capabilities for us. And I know it's gonna get better in future models of camera within Nikon. And now a lot of people are interested, and maybe you can bring us up to the 21st century on video and help us out, talking about your creativity process and um, all those different things, and how you're using video and what you're doing with your cameras right now is always interesting. So looking forward to it. What else we got here? Z9 can record more than 3 hours with the internal battery shooting 8K. Yep. CineD tested it, said 2 batteries are enough to use it all day for video. Well, there you have it. And again, I haven't even come close to exhausting a battery in the Z9, in the Z9 yet. Too many other things going on. I know that sounds like an excuse, and well, it is, but you know, you got to deal with life first. Frame Voyager, not as expensive as the Nikon batteries. In some cases, yeah, I'll agree. And if you've got a line on a brand of V mount frame, drop it in here. Help us out. I've bought them when they were on sale, and that helps out a bit. Of course, you'll need another charger for those batteries. Most come with at least a single plug-in charger, or you can buy one of the bricks to charge multiple batteries. Hey, Charles, thanks for subscribing to Mr. Frame Voyager's channel there. I think you'll find that it's entertaining. It's informative and entertaining, and that's what grabbed my attention. So I enjoyed it. What to bet? Yeah, Roy. Both can be expensive, and I think that the thing here is watching for sales on just about anything that you want. And as far as the V mount batteries go, yeah, you definitely want to catch those on sale. What's that? The V mount battery, James? Are you talking about? It will power. Now that we have the ability in the Z9 to charge USB-C, yes, you can get a cable, or you can use a regular USB A. And I don't know if you can see the Yeah, right there. So one is a D-tap, the two dots that you see. The other is a USB-A, USB-C-A connection. So you can power lots of things off these batteries. They're just great to have. Yeah, powers through a dummy battery that you have to purchase, or that would be for now on my Z6. Yes, I have a dummy battery that plugs into the battery chamber, and you run the cable that comes off of that to the V mount battery, and it will. I would say that 98 watt hour, and you can get these things up to about 160, 180 watt hours. They're bigger, of course, but it would probably, this 98 watt hour probably run this camera for 2 or 3 days. Uh, okay, so there you go, Mike. Let's see. So for the guy that doesn't shoot video but wants to shoot high speed, well, kind of 12 frames per second full raw would be 4 meg CF Express card. Really help with the buffering to make it worth the price. A G4. Are you talking about a 4 gig or help me out, Mike? You can shoot with a 100. You can shoot with a 64 gig CF Express card, CF Express B, as long as the sustainable write speed is 1,400 megabits or megabytes per second. Or what am I saying here? Yeah, or not per second. 1,400 megabytes sustained read speed or write speed. So you'll see the cards expressed in 1,700 megabyte or read and 1,500 write speed, but if it's not a sustained 1,500 write speed, then you're going to run into some buffering issues. Filmmaking, cinematography, yes, Jaspreet. And full disclosure here, Jaspreet is the one that pushed me to your channel, Frame Voyager. And I didn't know about it, but he mentioned it, and he actually mentioned maybe he would be interested in coming on the show. So I reached out to you. But I like your content. I really do. I really do. 64 meg card, not gigabyte, Mike. 64 meg card would be gone in 2 frames, I think. Yes, Nikon was first to video with the D90. And you're absolutely right. They lost the plot. That's still a mystery to me as to why. Maybe they, well, of course, stills were the rage then. That's all that we talked about. Video was becoming more and more important. And with YouTube, here we are with YouTube, it just went through the roof. And everybody wanted to be a content creator with video. And that's fine. I mean, that's just where everything went. And Nikon just didn't provide us with an opportunity to compete with everybody else. And for ease of creating content, where that's where Sony got their toehold on everything, I think, is because they definitely went that route, and their mirrorless cameras and the hybrid effect of being video and stills. Canon, of course, had their whole Cine line that everybody was always talking about they were trying to protect. But with the 5D Mark II, that changed, and everybody fell in love with the 5D Mark II for video. And I don't know why people in the Nikon camp couldn't see that. The 5D Mark II put Canon back on the map and did a tremendous job. Just trying to bring the Blackmagic and Nikon community together. Well, again, I'm not bad mouthing any other camera brands. I chose Nikon. I chose it for my reasons, and now I want Nikon to succeed. And I'm not running around crying the sky is falling with Nikon and they're going to go under. That's not the case. But I'd like to see Nikon really do well into the future. And I've tried to explain this to some people. At least my thoughts are the better Nikon does, the more R&D, the more technology we see out of Nikon. And I want Nikon to not succeed. They've already succeeded, but I want them to grow in market share. And that's the big thing. I did consider Blackmagic a long time ago as far as the video side of the house. I just never jumped to it because I really didn't get into video as much as I am now. So, software options for video. We'll definitely talk to Mr. Frame Voyager about that as well. So, are you talking about video production after the fact, post? I think that would be interesting. So, I'm using Final Cut Pro because I'm on a Mac. It just made sense. Yes, it's not Premiere or DaVinci, but I think a lot of people are beginning to pick up Final Cut Pro. But we'll bring that up on Saturday night and see if we can't get Frame Voyager to help us out with our choices there. Yeah, battery life, James, it's with the EL18s is fantastic. You may or may not need an external power source. And the only way you could use an external power source would be with video. I can't see lugging a battery bank and everything around trying to shoot stills with all the external power connected. All right, bite of my cookie. Sorry, guys. Throw this back up here. Again, anybody that wants to call, I'm going to, I got to add WhatsApp to the phone that I'm using for this call-in line. And then everybody will have a chance from overseas without all those charges to call in as well. I haven't tried the camera capture yet, Roy. I haven't really downloaded any of Nikon software. I've never needed it until now, but I guess Capture NX is really doing a great job, or we're not doing a great job. I guess they got rid of all the crashing and things with the software there, and the raw files are supposedly much better than using third party, even though there is no third party right now that I know of that recognizes the raw file. Z9 12,000 on eBay, new in the box. Yeah, they're going to have a hard time getting those prices now. When all the rumors were spreading that Nikon production, I don't know, whatever it was, we weren't going to see any cameras till October, which I didn't believe. My complaint there was that Nikon didn't do anything to squelch that rumor. They were just silent and let people conjure up their own opinion as to whether that was true or not. And that was aggravating. Let's see. You have one spare, should be able to go birding all day. James, I'm going to tell you right now, you can go birding all day long on one battery with that EL18 in the Z9. You won't have any problems, I don't think. You'll get tired before the battery expires, I believe. Jeffrey hasn't done video yet, but want to. And I think that's a lot of people don't, they want to try video, but they're afraid of it. And I understand why, because it's, you know, I, I was talking to my wife. I finally mastered Photoshop. And I mean, it took me a few years to actually, when I say master, I don't really mean master, but I have command of uh, Photoshop now, and I can manipulate and do what I want in Photoshop without any problems. But it took me a couple of years to really get good at it. Um, Now I'm venturing into video, and it is scary. I mean, you look at all the content that's out there that's just fantastic, and then you go to try to do it yourself, and you think, why does my stuff look like crap? Well, because one, editing is its own bear within video, not just the capturing, but that is its own animal as well. So it's going to take a little time to learn all these different things. Um, and again, Frame Voyager, I hope you're ready to talk about that. As I said in the email, there are going to be a lot of questions. A lot of people that have considered video, but really don't know where to begin or how to begin. So I hope you're prepared for that. And you can, again, bring some of your knowledge, experience, and creativity to the show and answer these questions. Help us out. So you're on notice. You're going to help us out with video. Uh, Listings are pulled, is no longer available. Are you talking on eBay, Charles? Yeah, that wasn't going to last long. Now that cameras are beginning to ship and people are willing to wait rather than pay double for a camera that they thought they couldn't live without. Best Buy's been canceling orders. Yeah, Best Buy and Amazon have been weird. You got to catch it when you can. And I liken this to the PS5. My stepson asked me if I would, because I had time, if I would continue to battle for a PS5 for him. And for days, the trying to catch one at Walmart and Amazon and Best Buy and everywhere else. So they would put them up in lots. There might be four PS5s available. And it was just a madhouse, the mad dash trying to capture one of those. So I think that may be happening with, now I could be wrong and you guys can correct me, but I think that may be happening with the Z9 and because it's Best Buy and Amazon. So are they doing the same thing? They're just releasing them in lots, and you have to be on the key ready to go the minute it comes up as available. I don't know. Now I want some cookies. Man, I'm starving. Worst thing I could do, huh? Eat a cookie and try to talk. So, are you getting your Z9 from B&H, Jeffrey? Yes, Premiere Pro is subscription. I'm just bouncing around from one thing to another, trying to follow your comments here. Premiere Pro is subscription based. DaVinci Resolve had free version and paid version. I did download the free version a long time ago, Jaspreet, and I just at the time didn't want to sit down and actually learn it. I mean, that's it. You just need to sit down and learn it, and I wasn't willing to do it at the time. Buy a Blackmagic camera and get DaVinci Resolve free. Yep. Blackmagic's been pretty they're everything. I mean, they've been moving forward. Unique photo showing the Z9 battery in stock. Thanks, James. Anybody wanting a battery right now, you might want to jump on that. Okay. So, what are you guys up to today? I'm glad everybody jumped in here. And again, I'm going to stick with this Wednesday afternoon format. I don't know if it helps everybody, but maybe it helps some in the time slot. It's just hard to find a convenient time for everybody. New DaVinci Resolve is better. They have simplified the editing section. Okay, well, now I got to look at it. But like I said, I jumped on Final Cut Pro because I'd heard about the ease of use. And while it may not be everything DaVinci is, it definitely will suit my needs for the near future. So yeah, so there you go. With video comes a whole lot more. You know, it's like anything. And my stepson, we were talking about photography and videography and things like that, and he wanted to get a camera. You know, blah blah blah. And I I told him you can't, once you start down this path, you can't stop. It is a literal money pit. But if it's something you really enjoy, then it's not a money pit. It's just something you enjoy. And there's nothing wrong with that, spending money. But stay away from influencers reviewing products. It's kind of like the old days when you'd stay up late at night and all the infomercials would come on at night and you're buying steak knives that are crap and, you know, a chainsaw sharpener and all the other things that you feel like you've got to purchase in the middle of the night. Same thing happens with photography and videography. It's like, oh, one more light and I'll be good. And then it's no. Now, if I had just two more lights, or if I had, you know, that new microphone or that new whatever, it just never ends. The rolling photographer. Anyone with a Z9 upgrade to version come up early today? I have not. I have not upgraded yet. I saw it, looked at what it provided. I haven't done it yet. I will, but kind of letting it shake out and let some other people talk about what's in it and what it actually does, and make sure there aren't any cookies in there that are going to, you know, prevent me from using a light, different brand light or third party anything. Sometimes I stream when you're sleeping. Sorry about that, Jaspreet. You're a hard market to meet on time. Let's see. Great time frame. Thanks, James. 4K monitor and video card now. Yeah, I didn't wait for the M1 on the laptop because my old laptop was just struggling for editing and everything else. And I bought the in 2019 the what is this, the MacBook Pro, and I decked it out pretty good, but I don't think anything compares to that new M1 chip processor that Apple's come out with. So yeah, I'm jonesing for that now, but that's down the road. I don't need it yet, even if I have to put up with a little bit slower processing. What do we got here? Jeffrey asked Nikon to recommend a stabilizer for the Z9. They responded they don't make them, and said to contact manufacturers. I thought their ambassador used them plenty and would share info. You know, it's funny that they say that they don't make stabilizers. Are you talking about a gimbal stabilizer for the camera? Well, they offered that in the videographer's kit with the D810, D850. I can't remember. So you would think they would recommend the one that's that they put in that kit when they sold the video kit. Great time slot in Europe. Thanks, Ray. Yeah, you're at 1600 GMT when this starts. So is that a good time, I guess, over there? Ended up buying the Crane 2S. So investing in some video centric products. Okay, man, you're all in, Jeffrey. You definitely are all in. Good. I have the Ronin S, the heavy version, the first version. It works fantastic. I actually mounted the D5 with the 24-70 on that gimbal, and I could get it to balance, and it worked. So it's definitely heavy duty, but it comes with a heavy weight as well. Jesprit, let's see. Some YouTubers declared R5C a true hybrid, but I think at the moment it's Z9 because it doesn't take 8 to 10 seconds to switch from photo to video. It does have IBIS and big battery to power lens AF. Okay, that's a topic we can talk about for a minute because I have my own opinions on the R5C. One, I think it's a good camera. I really do. It's not a hybrid in my opinion because it's so video centric. If you are video centric and you don't want to buy the C70 or pay for a C70, then the R5C is probably a good purchase for you. However, you're going to have peripherals that go with it. You already mentioned one, and that's power. The little battery is not going to, it doesn't. It's not that it won't. I mean, that it may not. It doesn't. It doesn't provide enough power for a lot of things on the camera, to include life, battery life for using the video side of the camera. As far as the delay between stills and video, if you're buying this camera and you're video centric, you don't care about that because it's probably going to be in video more than it is in stills. It's not a stills camera to walk around with in your hands, in my opinion, now that they put the big fan block on the back and it grew into almost a square rather than a rectangle. Um, I'm not worried about the weight because I don't bother with that. Everybody whining about weight of cameras. We never talked about this until mirrorless came out, and everybody was in the mindset that mirrorless was going to become feather light and provide all the capabilities of every camera ever made, and every lens was going to be super light and blah, 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 blah. Let's get over that. We haven't been able to defy physics yet, so weight is what it is. But with the R5C, I think it will be a decent video camera for those. It's almost an entry-level camera for videographers, in my opinion, if you're in the Canon camp. Now, there are other brands out there that provide entry-level that are just as good. But with the cinema camera menu in that camera, if you are video-centric, you're going to be more familiar with it, and it's going to that menu system will carry over into whatever next model you choose to buy in the Canon line. So I think R5 shooters, or R5 owners, were excited to hear that there was a new R5 or an update for the R5 coming, but nobody really knew that it was going to be so video centric. So your still shooters don't like it at all. They don't want it. They don't like it. And they're a little upset about it. But Canon never came out and said that, hey, this is just going to be an upgrade to stills capability. They didn't say anything, I guess. Not that I follow Canon that much, but listening to some of the Canon shooters talk about it, I know that they're not happy. And we in the Nikon camp would probably be the same way. If a stills camera that we love, we heard there's going to be an update to that camera, a new version coming out of that camera, and it comes out and it's very video centric. Just looking at the comments in here and on the past live streams of people that don't care about video, that's the last thing they want to see is a video centric camera. That said, would I like Nikon to do something like that? Yes, just not right now. It's not the right time for Nikon to do that. Just continue down the road of the Z9 with all the video capability, maybe a bit less in lower model cameras for a lot of reasons, but let's get the Z8 or whatever we're going to call it out next. Or is it a Z7 III? I don't know, but let's get that camera out next. then we can talk about, something more cinema or cine oriented, video oriented down the road. That's just my thoughts. I don't know how you guys feel, but the power is an issue in that camera, the R5C. And a lot of people are talking about, well, cinema shooters or video shooters aren't as concerned with IBIS, and I agree with that. But I think that was an easy excuse to not have it. I believe it has to do with the power consumption in the camera. IBIS, and you're talking about lenses. Some lenses aren't going to work. Some frame rates in the camera aren't going to work without external power. I think it's just underpowered. So therefore, it's not a stills camera to go running around with in your hands. You're going to have to put it in a cage. You're going to have to add all the peripherals, and it will be a good run and gun cinema camera. I don't know how you guys feel, but maybe Frame Voyager could weigh in on his thoughts as well. Let's see. Yeah, Jeffrey, handheld 3-axis stabilizers. And, that's what we talked about. So if you want stabilization in it for video, then you're going to have to invest in a gimbal. 4 p.m. in the UK. Yes, sir. Ray. Yeah, that's something that's overlooked because everybody wants light. But yes, the additional weight does help. It definitely helps in balancing lenses. I'll tell you that. And again, I've been a fan of the full body vertical grip uh, flagship cameras since the D4. I fell in love with it then, and I love it. It's not that heavy. It really isn't. R5C might also keep your hands warm. Yeah, well, we said that with the R5. And I don't know how the cooling, the external cooling will be. I'm sure they got that figured out now, though. And I think the fan actually operates in 3 levels: auto, medium, and high. So I don't know how that translates to what you're actually doing with the camera, but there'll be more on that as it once it gets in the hands of people. So yeah, I don't want to, poo all over the R5C. It has its place, I think. I know the R5 shooters aren't happy, but hey, there you have it. Mr. Photo Me Ike. Yes, sir. Big D9 owner or Z9 owner. Well, it's hard, man. It's hard. D5, Z9. Okay. Big Z9 owner. Looking forward to all the content you're going to come up with it. Yeah, you want light cameras, I know, but I quit even commenting when people bring that stuff up anymore about the weight. It's just, man, get over it. Have we become a society that is that feeble? I don't know. Took more time to switch than the R5C, switching from photo to video. Yes. Well, Nikon's been behind on it. We've talked about that. And I think that they're really beginning to catch up now. As soon as you heard C and R5C, you should have known what it was going to be. A bunch of whiny little babies. Yeah, absolutely. But everybody has hopes for what they think's coming. I don't know. The R5 is really actually a good camera, a stills camera. It's a fantastic stills camera. So I don't know what the complaint is, other than they did have some video issues, heating and things like that. But be happy with the R5 if that suits your needs. If you're really video oriented, then the R5C may be a better camera for you. But R5 shooters shouldn't be complaining. They still have the R5, and it is a good camera. Nikon has to satisfy lens orders for Z mount before starting a cinema lens line for a cinema camera. Yeah, we talked about that in one of the live streams, Jeffrey. I'm sure you remember. I would like to see Nikon come up with a budget cinema lens line. Okay, they have Nikon is definitely a lens company, a glass company, no doubt about that. And I know that they have the technology to build these, and it could even be a hybrid, autofocus, manual focus, cine lens. I know it sounds crazy, but it would satisfy both worlds. Would it be on the order of cine lenses that are out there, professional cine lenses? No. But with what they have in the Z line right now, focus breathing and things like that, that they've been able to control so well, I think that they could do this and pull it off relatively cheap. And again, you're right. I think they need to fill out a few more in the roadmap before they look at it. But I would like to believe that they are looking at that possibility, and to have its own line of cine lenses, 5 lenses, I think would be fantastic. And it's another selling point for the Nikon line for video. So we'll see what they do. We'll see. Let's see. IBIS keeps the heat down and power draw down. Okay, yeah, Ike. But then again, if you're buying it for the cinema, if you're buying it for the video capabilities, then that doesn't bother you. And I think that's what bothers so many Canon shooters is how could they omit this? And you know what? All those that are complaining aren't video shooters. So, push me over the line buying the Z9. So, Roy, that was a big part of your purchase of the Z9, not just its capabilities, but the fact that you have a better battery in the Z9 with the EL18 series. And that makes sense. Algorithms are hating on you, Ike. Yeah, you know what? It's true because I haven't seen any of your content pop up. I mean, obviously, I'm a subscriber, but I haven't seen much. Are you not producing as much, or is it the algorithms that's beating you down? Yeah, absolutely, Jaspreet. What are photographers mad at the R5 though? If you already have the R5, you have one of the best stills cameras out there. What more do you want? I agree, Ike. And I was just talking about it. You're absolutely right. And if they want to wish, then they just need to get on the oh shoot R1 train and start wishing there. I think that's going to be a great camera too. I'm not beating on it. It's going to be a great camera. You know it will be. Yeah, I think the chip supply it's bad, but it's not as bad as we've been made to believe. And I think that is going to begin to improve here before long. Don't ask me why. I have no facts, stats, or anything. Gut feeling. All right. Yeah, eat your Wheaties and carry a camera. Exactly. Okay, so let me address this. It's technically not possible to put all the high data, high performance specs in a small body. Z9 doesn't have a mirror, mechanical shutter, but I'm sure they add metal plates for thermal effect. Okay, so my opinion on this: one, yes, more real estate definitely helps with heat dissipation. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I mean, it's just like anything. The bigger the heat sink on something, the better the heat dissipates. All right, that along with the Tico tech that they worked with with the company, and being able to compress and push data in a less thermal environment, if you will. In other words, it's not adding to the heat problem. I think made a big difference. That tech may be able to handle some of these specs in a smaller body. So we're going to see. We're going to see what comes out next. You can bet Sony and Canon. I don't know if Nikon has an exclusive use of that tech, but I'm sure there are other companies out there that are doing the same thing. Canon and Sony are going to venture down that path as well. And if you can compress these files to a manageable rate, one, not eliminating, but reducing the heat signature, and two, producing images that are on par with uncompressed uh, files, then that's the way of the future. You get rid of heat, you speed things up. I think that's what's going to happen for Nikon's next move. I don't know how much of the video capability out of the Z9 they will have in it, but you can bet it's going to be very close, in my opinion, because now they have tech that will help them to reduce the heat signature. I don't know how you guys feel, but I think the tech has as much to do with it as the real estate of that body. Yeah, Hassan, the R5 was overhyped by everybody. And not just that, that's typical. We do it in the Nikon camp, everybody does it. We're hoping for something. We don't know what we're getting. If it wasn't for Nikon rumors, we wouldn't have known much about the Z9 until it was actually launched. But Canon rumors didn't have that much information about the R5 until late in the game. So everybody was hoping it was going to be, I'll just say it this way, it was going to be a Z9 in a R5 body update. Okay. Now that might not be true, but my point is they hoped for something that went completely above where the R5 is. The R5 is a fantastic camera. Excuse me. R5 is a fantastic camera. And, to provide an upgrade to that camera, you would be venturing into where the R1 is going to be. And I don't think Canon was ready to do that. And they chose the video route for the upgrade or new model or new version or whatever you want to call it. But everybody was upset. They wanted, new R1 technology in the R5 update. My opinion, you guys tell me what you think. I'm way behind on comments. I always do this. Yeah, Ike, I saw iPhoneato's review. Seems like he's happy with it. Yeah. Which, that makes me feel good that finally somebody's being an honest broker in their review. And we know that there are still some that are going to find some hate somewhere in the Z9 when they're reviewing it. Now, I'm not saying it's the perfect camera, but they cannot pass up an opportunity, even if it's, well, this latch is a little bit sticky and it's hard to push. And they're going to find something. But he did a real good review. He was an honest broker, and at the end said he likes it. And I love seeing that. Nikon needs a camera above video and blogger friendly, and the Nikon Z5 II with a backlit new sensor, full frame 4K video capabilities, and a video flip screen is the most natural choice. Okay, Albert, I would agree with that. What I don't want to see Nikon do is go to flippy screens for everything. I just don't like that thing. The only way I would use it would be to flip the screen around so you can see the LCD and push it back in its place. I really like, and this is me, I'm not saying Nikon has to do this, and everybody has to agree with me, but I like what they did with the Z9 LCD screen and being able to move vertical, horizontal, both ways. I think that it's a great design, and I'd like to see them keep that in their prosumer and flagship level cameras. That's my desire that, I would like to see. If you want to put the flippy screen in something, then put it in those versions. And it should be, in my opinion, in entry level cameras, because that's most of the people that are using the flippy screen. So my opinion may not be right. Social media tends to hype a new camera announcement, and then when they come out, everyone finds fault with something. Absolutely. I mean, it's always the case. No replacement for displacement. You're a car guy there, Mr. Ike. But that it's apt for discussing the Z9 and its heat dissipation. Talking about. Hey, you guys, here, let me throw it up here again. I got to use this, man. Mama's gonna. I had to convince her I needed this old phone to get a new number. So, you guys, anybody wants to call in, by all means, do so. Back to chat. Tico Raw, there you go. NRAW will change the game for Nikon. If it is going to be easier to edit, yeah, remains to be seen, Jesprit, but great hopes there as well. Yep, better compression, less heat. Yep. Yeah, there are definitely. I don't know what they're using for heat sinks in the Z9. Maybe the exploded view would give us a better idea, but just the magnesium frame is part of it, I'm sure. Getting content. So, Albert, you're not getting his content either. What's up with that, Ike? What do we need to do, man, to bring you out of the algorithm jungle? Yep, you're right, Ike. On the R3, another good camera. I had mentioned it, but it is. Well, first of all, I think Sony's got a great camera too. Sony, Nikon, Canon, and we're talking stills and hybrid with video. Not full-fledged hardcore video at a reasonable price. And that's where Frame Voyager comes in, because he's shooting black magic. And if you're video only, then you can definitely get into a great video camera at a fairer price, if I might say it that way. But yeah, Nikon, Canon, and Sony, all three now are stellar as far as stills cameras go, and with real good hybrid capabilities in the video. So, David, I still haven't. I really want to sit down with it and go through the shooting banks and work that out so that I can just move from one to the next for whatever I'm actually shooting or doing. So I haven't done that yet. I haven't been out playing with the AF yet. Just again, the weather, and then my basement turning into a swimming pool from plumbing issues. But I don't, to answer your question, I don't have it set up the way I want yet. I'll tell you that. And a bit of laziness too. I'm not going to lie. Oh. R3 kind of spec Z6 III should be a 30 megapixel 6K 60 frame. You know what? In that comment, Jesprit, I will say I want to see the Z6 go to a 30 to 33 or so megapixel camera as well. Now, I don't want another 12 megapixel camera, even though with technology today and at 12 megapixel, you're probably going to really win some ground on noise. I'm not as worried about noise as a lot of people, but then again, you know, Coca-Cola hadn't called me and asked me to shoot a campaign for them either. So my lack of concern for noise doesn't hurt my business since I don't have a business, commercial business shooting. So, where are we at here? Charles. One reason I like this channel is that we don't bash other brands. No, I mean, you know, if we're honest with each other, we recognize the other brands and what they have, the capabilities they have. And, you know, you can't take away what Sony's done over the years. Now, Nikon and Canon are doing a great job of uh, uh, pushing their way into the market share on the hybrid camera, the mirrorless camera segment. It doesn't mean Sony's going to give up. They're going to continue to try to innovate. Canon obviously has done a fantastic job, and Nikon woke up. The sleeping, you know, giant woke up and decided, you know, we got to get with the times here. So yeah, all those brands, and that's not, you know, I know Fuji has a better following now than they've had in years. And it has a segment of the market that really loves what it does. And I think everybody would agree Fuji's colors are fantastic too. They really are. So, you know, everybody has their reason for picking a brand, and there's no reason to pick on other brands because it doesn't suit what you want. I like Nikon. I like the ergonomics, and yeah, well, I'm not going to bash them. There's no need to. Um, Another factor of heat dissipation. Let's see. Thermal plate compound or thermal pads used to migrate the heat from the component body to the metal surface body. Okay. You're getting all technical on me, and I'll have David in here in a minute, and David's going to explain to me metallurgy. You guys are on it. I love David. David always brings me back to reality. When I'm out here making predictions and things, and David comes in with a comment explaining to me why it's not possible, it takes a little wind out of my sail, but I appreciate the fact that he calms me back down. Let's see. Question on the Z9, James. If you have two CF Express cards, will it fill up the first one and then go to the next, or do you have to set something in the menu? Yes, James, you do. In the menu, you have an opportunity to set up how the camera uses the memory cards. And it's listed in the camera slot 1 and slot 2. You can have everything record to both cards simultaneously. And that's JPEG and RAW, or just JPEG, or just RAW. And the second card becomes your backup because it's literally capturing everything that the other card's capturing. You can set it up to split JPEG and RAW, JPEG on one card, RAW on another card. You can set it up so that it's JPEG and RAW on one card and video on another card. You can't do a backup of video on both, or use both cards to do a backup of video. You can't do that. That doesn't bother me. Let's see. What else can you do? You can shoot JPEG and RAW, or just JPEG, or just RAW, or just video to a card, and then make the other card overflow. So there are a lot of things that you can do with the cards and how you set it up in the camera. And it's real easy to do. When you get your camera, you'll see it almost guides you through it as you go to the menu selection and start looking at what's available. So, yeah, Nikon did take longer, and yes, Canon had dual pixel AF. Yeah, no doubt about it. Canon's AF was ahead of Nikon. Now, let me jump to the D6, which everybody thought the D6 was just a slight upgrade from the D5. And after talking to Gurcharan Rupra, the wildlife photographer in Kenya, and he had the D6, and he said the D6 AF is just phenomenal. which almost sounds like night and day between the D5 and the D6. And he also said that it's possibly still a little bit better than the Z9, but he hadn't had the Z9 for long enough to really make that claim. But he thought the D6 AF was fantastic. So Nikon was doing extremely well in the DSLR line, and they had to find some way to transfer all that AF technology into the mirrorless camera. So evidently they found it, and the Z9 has been, it looks pretty daggone good. I know in the studio shooting my cat, it's pathetic, isn't it? I'm happy with the AF. It's definitely better than the Z6 or Z6 II that I have. Albert, yeah. Talking about Photo Me Ike, yeah. He deserves, yeah, I don't know what the deal is there, why that's happened to him, but I did notice that I'm not seeing any notifications of any content from him. And I just assume maybe he got the Z9 and he's kind of out there playing with the Z9 right now and it would pick up again. But after hearing from him too, and all of you that say that you haven't received any notifications, it's something more than just taking a break. Yeah, James, it is great. I did not buy a large car. I have plenty. Now, here's the other thing I like about this camera. I have a ton of XQD cards that I bought over the years for all the cameras that Nikon, we used XQD cards in. And they work as well. Now, you're going to hit the buffer quick on the XQD card. But if you're in a studio and you're not taking, if you're taking 5 or 10 shot bursts or single shots throughout a session, you're not going to notice the difference. So I think that's fine. I think that's great. Now, on downloading the files, it might be a little bit slower on the XQD after experiencing the CF Express card, but they work and they work okay. Even for wildlife, I would say. Not birds in flight, obviously, but wildlife where you have static subjects or animals, the XQD cards would work. So don't discount that if you have XQD cards. They will work in the Z9. You're just not going to get 130 frames per second with a XQD card. And yes, I have 4 CF Express cards. 2 are the high-speed Delkin Black, 128 gig each. So I actually have 256 gigs of memory in my camera, which isn't going to go far, but it's, it's enough for me right now. What I'm more concerned with is 8K video, 4K 120 storage space. So I'm working on that now. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to actually archive all the video. So seemed like Sony was, let's see, way too many bodies. I think they cut into their own sales personally. I won't knock the product. I was thrilled. They bought Minolta and became a viable manufacturer. Yeah. And I know I can't see their financials on that as far as the number of bodies that they produced and as quickly as they produced them. So I don't know if it was detrimental or not. And I agree, just at a cursory look, you would think that they did eat into their own camera sales with so many new bodies and such diversity, but evidently they've done extremely well with that. So I don't know. And there are some Sony shooters that are not the annoying fanboy Sony guys that are just obnoxious, but there are some that are shooting Sony and really like it and speak well of it. And they have stated, Peter Lundgren is one of them. He reviewed the Sony, what is it, the A7 IV or A7S IV? I don't know. I can't keep up with all of them, the models. But he shoots an A7S III and he says he's not going to upgrade because that camera does something that Ford doesn't or whatever, and he likes it and he's sticking with it. And he's a prolific YouTuber and a Sony shooter. So I guess Sony offers everybody something that's, in their niche. Uh, yeah, just we were talking about iPhone 8. Yeah. 2 terabyte cards in a Z9, which is not possible on A1 and some other current mirrorless cameras. Yeah, and that's another thing we could talk about here real quick. A lot of people are complaining it has 2 CF cards in it, or Nikon put 2 CF cards in the Z9. Everybody still wants a. I can kind of understand, but you got to bite the bullet somewhere and say, look, technology's moving forward. This is better, and I've got to get with the times. But everybody wants an SD card slot in every camera. I understand they're cheaper, but they're cheaper because they're not as good. And everybody will tell you at some point in time they've had an SD card fail for whatever reason. And we can go down that road of arguing, well, all cards can fail. Sure, they can. So can the camera. So, whatever. But I've never had an XQD card fail on me. And I've used those. I've run them into the ground well beyond where I should still be using them. And never, I've run one through a wash cycle because it was in my pants pocket after shooting an event, and it went through the dryer as well. It came out and not a problem. Now, it could have been a fluke. I don't know, but I have great respect for the durability of XQD and CF Express cards. Why wouldn't we want to go there? Why do we want to stick with an SD card? The only reason can be because you can get them at B&H on sale for like $1 a piece. I'm exaggerating a bit, but yeah, and I understand everybody wants to save money. I agree. But we'll complain about not having 2 card slots, but want the 1 card slot to be an SD card. Now that don't make no sense to me. If you're complaining about 1 card slot is that you don't have any backup and everything else. Well, why would you then want to shoot with an SD card? So anyway, it's time to move on again, folks. For those that are hanging on to the SD cards, it's just time to get over it, spend the money, and let's move on in technology. Again, my opinion, it may not be right, but that's the way I feel. Can you program the Z9 button for 2 different shooting modes? One bird in flight, one for birds at rest, and one for slow shutter, and one with fast. Not the button that I know of, James, but the new memory in the camera, these shooting banks, will allow you to have different setups, camera setups, available to switch quickly to another. You can also do this with the AF modes, remapping buttons or FN buttons to specifics on the AF, whatever you want. I don't know that there's any way to change the frame rate because that is a literal hard button or dial on the camera that you have to turn to go to the higher frame rates. So I don't know. I can't answer all your questions just yet. I haven't experimented with it enough, but maybe Ike has played with it and he can give us some information on that. Let's see. Tom Mason's channel. He's also a Nikon user. I think he also got his Z9. I'll have to check it out. Oh, no, that's interesting. That's an observation. Jaspreet. Ike just playing with the Sony, and the algorithm made sure that was picked up. That's interesting. I hadn't noticed. Maybe I can weigh in on that as well. Yeah, SD cards would melt in the Z9. Yeah. Charles, I like SD cards, but they do fail at a higher percentage rate than XQD or CF Express. Yeah, and it's to each his own, but I don't want to see a camera maker and why that they're hanging on to the SD card with Canon and Sony. I don't know, but I have a feeling that's going to change soon. I really do. I think it was just a legacy thing for the shooters. The keep that SD card. It's something cheap and easy. And the SD cards did get a bit better, no doubt about that. But you always have the ability to buy a cheaper card to put in your camera and shoot without having to even worry about getting a CF Express card or whatever. But I think that's going to change. Yeah, Ray, you can buy them anywhere. And again, it's there's trade-offs for everything, and that's just one of the trade-offs. Is I think that not XUD, but I think that CF Express cards are now becoming a whole lot more common, but nobody is going to be happy with the price. That I understand. But again, that's the price we pay for what we want to do. And we just got to keep moving with the times. Yes, this is something that everybody asked about the Z9 too, Jesprit. Will we be able to record externally to an external SSD via USB-C? And as we know now, no, you can't. Is that something could be fixed in a firmware? I don't know. You guys are probably better at answering that than I am. I don't know if it can be a firmware update. And I don't know if, the next version of Nikon prosumer camera will allow that or not. But you're right. It's nice. Blackmagic does that. Yeah, CF Express does have a lot of room to grow, James, and who knows what comes next with the CF Express cards. Hey, good. How you doing? See, David says if you want to use SD cards, you can take the Z9 specifications and divide by 4 because the SD cards are so slow. Yeah, even though they have become better, they don't have the pipeline either. And I don't know. You guys will start pulling that out here real quick, but the internals and the pipeline for the transmission of the data, SD cards it's exhausted. It's gone as far as it can go. Let's see. Yeah, Jeffrey, I think they made the right choice. But again, Nikon, I think, made the right choice with the XQD cards in the D4. And everybody was all about, and I got all these CF Express cards. Well, I got 14-inch tires, and now I got a truck that uses spare tires downstairs. And I got a truck that uses 20-inch tires. That's just the way it is. I don't know if that makes sense on the card side, but yeah, they're going to get cheaper. No doubt about it. T-Mid, good to see you, buddy. Get in on the chat, man. SD cards used to be expensive. Yeah, they did. And XUD cards were expensive, and now they are again, which is weird. But before Lexar dropped or actually sold out, went out of business, and somebody bought their name and they're producing XUD cards and things now. But right before they actually went out of business, I jumped on the opportunity because XUD cards got real cheap. And that's why I have a bunch of them now. So yeah, the prices will come down as, time goes on. But then you're going to want the next version, as you said, James, maybe a UFC CF Express C card. it's going to be that much faster, and then you're going to want that. So even though the B type cards are cheaper, so it's that money pit I was talking about. You just can't quit. Let's see. Producing some really cinematic work. Let's see. Yeah, I agree with you. I want to see, and I've tried to promote that over and over and over, even though I'm not holding up that end of the bargain. I want to see more and more Nikon shooters that are producing creative content that's getting out there to the public in YouTube and everywhere else, and show people that, man, Nikon can actually do good video. I mean, you'd be surprised at how many people would say that, because there just isn't that much out there in the, public domain. Talking black magic. Yeah, Chris, we are. We have somebody in here that shoots black magic, BMPCC. So he's going to join us Saturday night, and we're going to talk video. But yeah, we have been talking about black magic. Hey, I didn't offend you with my comment, did I? I wasn't aiming that at you, but it's something that I've been saying all along, and it just comes up, kind of raises a hair on the back of my neck when people start down the path. You didn't, by the way. I understand your choice there for your new camera. But so many people get into the need. A camera isn't just for need. You can actually own one for fun. But so many of the photographers in all the chats and everything else are all about asking the first question out of their mouth. If you say, well, I'm thinking about getting the Z9, the first question will be, well, do you need a Z9? And that's why I always say, I don't need it. I want it. But it just gets crazy. And I didn't aim the comment at you, Chris. I hope you didn't feel that way. So I commented on Chris's video from this morning, and I kind of worried that maybe you would think I was talking about him, and I wasn't. But I was talking about the need versus want. Yep. Yeah, it is a video beast, the Z9, and it can produce some quality work. We just need to see, how many videos have you seen posted using the Z9? There are some, but the stills, photos, and everything far exceed anything any video creation with the camera. So I'm hoping to see more of that. James, there you go. Let's make a cinematic film. I'm with you, Chris. Let's do it. I'm with you, brother. You got to edit it, though, because I'm just not there yet. Yeah, Jaspreet, I saw your video, and that's great, man. You need to keep going with that. I hope you didn't, man. I hope you didn't read it with my voice. Let's see. I did not order the 24-120, Jeffrey. However, I'm jonesing for it. I'm trying to decide. Do I want to go the 24-120, or do I want to go that new 2875 2.8, or do I want to go to the 24-70 2.8? I mean, it's good. A camera manufacturer is doing well when they have three lenses that you want all three, but you can't buy all three, and they're all in the same basic focal range. I can't decide yet. I'm using the 24 to 70G on the Z9. I tried that the other day. It works like a charm. So that'll give me time to figure out which way I want to go. I actually have the 24 to 120G, which I'm not a super fan of, but not the focal range. I love the focal range. I just wasn't a fan of the lens, but I know this new 24 to 120 has got to be fantastic. So I don't know. It's a good question. I haven't seen those yet, James. Photos from the tennis match. I'll have to check it out. 750 is an amazing camera. A lot of people wore that camera out. A lot of wedding shooters fell in love with the D750. Yeah, I saw Ray. I saw Matt's video. It was very nice. I like it. But Matt is a creator first and foremost. So he's going to exercise not just the still side, but the video side as well. And I love seeing that. Yeah, cinematic, Jasprit. I agree. You want to know a very cinematic lens that I found and shooting it on my D5 is the 400 2.8. It was just, I have some footage a year and a half ago shooting some of the ducks and geese and things in the back and the waterfowl refuge. Man, it was just beautiful video. Now, you can't keep anything in focus, but unless you're going to pull focus. You like that 28 to 75 2.8, Chris? I do too. I got to tell you. And, you know, as more and more photos come out and we see its capability, it may just convince me. I don't know. I'll have to see. New bellow kit for the Z mount, motorized focuser. Can't hurt to wish. Yeah. All right, James. Most Nikon users don't even color grade videos. Some of the people use default colors of Nikon for video. Well, I'll tell you, Jasprit, right now, that's me. I'm, again, working with Final Cut Pro, and I want to try shooting some flat video, and I want to see this in-log for the Z9 or Nikon. I want to see how that's going to work out. And then I'll get into destroying colors, my own cut in Final Cut Pro. T-Mid, you're gonna drop the D850 for the Z9? Yeah, Stu, the compression, it was just stellar. It was golden hour back there on the water. Everything was just perfect. Now all that has to do with it as well. But man, I shot this video just playing around. I brought it in, put it up on the screen. I thought, wow, man, that is beautiful. Now, could I replicate that? Probably not, because I'm still working on my video skills. You're keeping your G 28 to 70. Oh, so you're going to get the 24 to 120, Jeffrey. Okay. Yeah, I don't know which one I want. If I had enough money, I'd buy them all. I'd buy all three of them, but I don't. So I have to make a decision on which one I want. There's so many lenses that I want. I want that 85 1.2 whenever it comes out. I want the 50 1.2. But after watching Jerry Gionis on Videography, the interview the other day, Jerry said he likes the 51.8. He doesn't want any more depth of field than that. And I started thinking, you're right. And In a studio, I wouldn't be shooting at 1.2. I'm going to be shooting at f4, f5, f6, f8. So I, I don't know. I don't know now. I'm all confused. All right. All right, man, I finally caught up with most of the comments. And you guys didn't get answers. If you ask me something, all you got was opinion. So looking back here, anything else? Yeah, it's been a nice afternoon chat for a Wednesday. Kind of like this. So, being that I mentioned that, guests are also welcome for the Wednesday afternoon chat. I know it's not a great time slot for those that are in America. No cookies left. Oh, hang on. Got tasked by my beautiful bride. She won't get in front of the camera, and she's gorgeous.
Howdy.
My beautiful bride.
I know. See, if you could get it.
They make these, I don't understand. Hang on.
Never mind.
All right.
How many people are you talking to? I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. They don't mind.
Hello again.
She works from home. She's been upstairs really knocking it out. Boy, I heard her up there.
Sorry for the interruption, everyone.
Hey, life first.
Oh, never mind. I got it. Thank you.
Sorry.
Adios, everyone.
Yeah, man. I do blush every time I'm around my beautiful bride. My beautiful Latina. All right. Charles, there is no way. I'm surprised she even walked over here and looked into the camera. There is no way she's going to volunteer. After all these years, I have 2 photos of her that I conned her into standing in front of the camera so I could get things set up for somebody that was coming over for portraits. Yeah. Yeah. I'm the pool boy, by the way. When we go out, they wonder, why did she bring the pool boy with her? Well, not boy, but the repairman or whatever. Let's see. Yeah, I had cookies. They're gone. I need to go in there and grab me another handful. Woody Mallory, is this the 26th? Yes, buddy. Glad to see you made it in here. You may have been busy with something though. So, Jeffrey, 85 1.2. If the eye's in focus, the nose won't be. Yeah, you're right. And I guess that's what he was bringing up. For creative portraits, that's fantastic. However, for 90% of the time, you're probably shooting it at, f5, 6 or something, especially in studio. So why get it? I don't know, because I want it. I don't know. Let's see. You want to go live next Wednesday? Absolutely, brother. You talking about on your channel or here? Because yeah, I plan to run these on Wednesdays starting at noon Eastern, and it just kind of gives an opportunity for more people to watch. I know it's not perfect, and it's, like Roy said, it was 4 a.m. when we started this over there in the land down under in Australia. But yeah, absolutely. Give me a shout. Let me know what you want to do. You want to come on here, or you want to do one or whatever. I don't care. I don't care, brother. I'm just having fun doing it. That's all. Beautiful woman. Yeah, she is. She's gorgeous. She is gorgeous. Hot. Yes, definitely. Yeah, I did have cookies. Hello, back to my beautiful bride. Her name is the beautiful Latina. Her name is Maribel. So it's Madi. My Madi. Yeah, we talked about her being the was that a Z9 knife? No, James, that's my pocket knife. I don't go anywhere without a pocket knife. It's not a knife, it's a tool. You use it constantly. And the only problem with it is it's kind of like being the only person that has a pickup truck. Everybody wants to use it. Let's see. Keep cookies in the house to have such a beautiful. Uh, learn color upgrading, color grading. Let me drop this over here so I can read it. Learn color. Learn color grading. I got put a really good video out about color grading. Log profile uses technique to create LUT in Photoshop. Cool. Yeah, it's just another one of those things I need to do, but it requires time and effort. And I have so many things going on. I never can. I can't do everything I want, I guess. New tripod, James. Art size. I'll check it out. You take a look at it, Chris. Yeah, man. I'm going live next Wednesday regardless. You know, if you have something you plan you want to do from your end, that's fine. Be happy to join. Or if you want to join here, that's fine. Or if you just want to show up and make comments, that's fine too, brother. I'm easy. I'm easy. Create the LUT. Cool. Jaspreet. Better be dressed for work, Chris. James. Maybe in the evening. Yeah, let me think about that, Chris. I think I want to keep the noon time slot going. I want that to become a regular so that anybody that wants to join in, listen in from work or whatever, they can. But maybe we'll have a dual stream next Wednesday. So let's see. Yeah, Jeff, I'm not going to blame it on you, man. I don't know what it was, but I rebooted the computer again, and I don't know why, but after I rebooted, after we had finished, it was fine. So, haven't found a way to teleconference for work yet. Well, I could get in a uniform if you want of some kind, and you could act as if you're talking to somebody for work. Nikon should work with him to create phantom LUTs for Z9. He replicated RE Amir colors for Sony and Blackmagic and Canon. Cool. Yeah, well, that kind of brings me back to all the talk about Nikon becoming more and more prevalent and becoming noticed. And, it's like third-party lenses. All of a sudden, the third-party lenses for Nikon Z mount have begun to come out. And that was a complaint early on that there weren't any third-party lenses for the Z mount. But more and more, Nikon's beginning to enter the stage for a lot more recognition. And that's exactly what we want. We definitely want a little more recognition. And again, like I said when we first heard about the Z9, I don't care about Nikon being number one. That would be great and all. And even with the Z9, as great as we saw it to be when it was first announced, and it is, Canon and Sony are going to dethrone that real quick. And that's okay, because then Nikon then is motivated to do the same. So it's going to be that leapfrog game that we're in now, which is where we need to be, like we were back in the DSLR days. So Let's see. QB54 ball head. A while back. I'm looking at more comments here. Okay. Non-CPU lens data. That's connected to something. All right, Chris. Take care, buddy. Thanks for dropping by. Love to see you, man. Love to see you. Big gimbal on the new tripod. Okay. James. Yeah, I'm tripod poor. I've got several tripods, and I didn't learn my lesson soon enough. And when people tell you buy good first, even though it's more expensive, listen to them. That there's no truer tip anybody could give you in photography than buy a good tripod right off the bat if you're going to buy a tripod. Otherwise, you're going to go through a dozen cheaper tripods. There are tripods that you can buy that become heirlooms. You just have to invest in it. Non-CPU lens data menu option. No, not that I noticed in the menu. And I don't have any. Well, yeah, I guess. No, I don't because they're G mount. There you go. Thanks, Ike, for that. Charles, you have too many tripods too? I do. I have way too many. I bought a travel tripod that weighs more than my studio tripod. That's how stupid I was. It's small, but it's heavy. I need to start liquidating some of this stuff. I've got tons of stuff that, I'm that guy, again, that's up late at night and the steak knife commercial comes on and I got to have them. Well, that's me with photography gear. I will say I use most of it, but not all of it. A lot of it's just had to have it because it made me better. Oh, you have the reflex, 1000 millimeter reflex. Okay, cool, James. So you're using the FTZ, and the FTZ will communicate the aperture and everything, I think, to the camera. So I would expect that you'd be okay. Somebody just came out. There's a company that just came out with another, new reflex camera. I can't remember whether it was 1000 millimeter, 800 millimeter, 500 millimeter, but I just saw it recently. It's interesting. The Z6 doesn't know. Okay. Yeah, you know what? I have the Sigma Art lenses that I'm not really fond of, but I could use the FTZ and put that on and see if it's communicating. Don't ask, don't tell. Ike, when you gonna come on my live stream, man? When you gonna get on here? I like Ike because he's to the point. He doesn't beat around the bush, and he gives his honest opinion. Is that the new lens that I was talking about? Is it Tokina that came out with a reflex 400 and 500, or are you talking about these are other lenses that you have? Oh, with a Z mount. Now I see the next part of the comment. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I know, brother. I go, yeah. Well, and that's just it. You know, everybody has their own schedule. And yeah, I understand that, man. I understand that. Yeah, Saturday night's not great for a lot of people. I get that too. You too, huh? With the IRS, we're having a battle with them too. But then again, well, like you, I have a business that I have to. What a pain. You know, Jaspreet, on that, if Nikon wants to go a cine camera route and still trying to keep it within the hybrid system, I think it would be great. But going outside that, I don't know. Red Komodo body with Z9 internals. I got to put this up here on the screen. Trying to see how much I can get deducted if I claim Nikon USA as a dependent. Yeah, man. I ought to be able to claim Nikon too. Yeah, you're right. Government doesn't deserve any money, Charles. They're milking us all dry. And right now, man, the inflation is just unbearable, and gasoline, just something is simple. One item, gasoline. You know, I have a daughter that you know, she struggles. She struggles to make ends meet. And you know, how do people like that afford these gas prices right now? You got to go to work. I mean, and you got to do so many things, and it's not just gas. I'm up in Connecticut. I have a boiler system here for heating, which I absolutely hate. Didn't even know about until I came up north. But I'm burning 100 gallons or more fuel a month, especially in this cold weather. This last month, I burned 150 gallons, and 150 gallons at $3 a gallon. That ain't cheap just to heat the house. It's ridiculous. Man, something's got to break before long. We need some help. Nikon should get in, Jaspreet. Nikon should get into the cinema video market. It's growing. And yeah, it is growing. And with Nikon Color Science, I think they can make their place into that segment. I agree with you 100%. I agree with you, Jaspreet. And I think right now, everybody'd be happy if they just get through the lens roadmap that they have and get that next prosumer body out. Then it's okay for Nikon to begin to think further ahead and maybe really beginning to dabble in the cine, not a full cine camera, but, you know, bring all their video capability into a body that is more video oriented. I would agree with you. Let's see. Just in California, gas is over $5 at the pump. Insane. I know, man. And it's almost $4 a gallon here in Connecticut. It's ridiculous. James talking about car photography. Are you talking about static car, trying to take photos of cars or whatever? Yeah. The 14 to 24 is it's a great creative lens for that. But it's tough to shoot. It depends on what you're shooting the cars for. I have some I do a lot of car events, car shows, and I have some crazy photos of cars that I shot with the 14 to 24. It's not something that's going to go in a magazine or anything like that. But as far as a creative shot, yeah, they're very cool. Most people don't appreciate that, the artistic touch, but yeah. Yeah, it's tough to do, I think, with the 14 to 24, unless you're on parallel with the vehicle and the vehicle is square to the sensor. There's just a lot that goes into trying to use 14 to 24 or 24 millimeter on a vehicle. I have a shot I'll show you here maybe next time. I shot a Charger buddy of mine got, one of the new uh, Dodge Chargers. This was out in Salt Lake City. And because the road in front of the hotel actually is a direct line to a valley between the mountains out there, we wanted to pull the car parallel to the mountains and shoot it right in the middle of the road. Well, we stopped traffic for a little bit to actually do that, but it's a very cool shot. But I think I shot that on the 24 to 70 at 70. I can't remember. No, closer to 50 maybe. Anyway, it distorts the actual size, shape, and everything of the car. Most people might not notice it, but as soon as I pulled the photo up, he immediately recognized that no, it's distorting my car. So anyway, for just shooting and recognizing cars and motorcycles and things like that, yeah, you can use just about anything you want. But the 14 to 24 is a challenge if you want to replicate reality on the other end. I don't know if I said that right. Future content, get someone to talk about starting a photo business and how to price your photos and options on how to publish and market a book. Food for thought. No, absolutely, Jeffrey. And I've already been thinking about that. And I'm looking for my next cold call victim. I'd actually like to get Ryan Troy in here because he was adamant on, talking about that on his channel for a while. But I don't know if it'll be possible. I'm definitely going to send him an email and see if he'd be interested in doing that. Could get Photo Me Ike, but he's too busy. He's just got so much content he's working on constantly. I understand that. Did I watch Tony Northrup's Z9 comparison video? Yes, I did. And yeah, I agree, Jesprit. I think that this is yet another opportunity to try to find and look for ways to knock the Z9 from, the Northrups. Really, it's Tony. I don't have a problem with Chelsea. I think she just kind of follows her husband or whatever. But yeah, it was another opportunity. Yes, I know he said it's good and blah, blah, blah. But he also tried to find every way he could to kind of kick it, kick it in the butt. And, but that's just Tony. He's still upset because Nikon snubbed him. I don't know why they did that. It could be because he broke his NDA with Sony, or at least it appears he did, and dropped his review of the A7S4 or A7 IV or whatever it is before the embargo. So there you have it. And there are several, as we know, that are still doing it. Even though they want to say it's good, they're going to find some way to kind of push it to the side with, well, but this is, a problem or whatever. But that's just the way it is. I think as Nikon continues down this path, though, the Z9 is the camera that broke the ice, and I think we continue down this path, just like Ifanedo, he liked the camera. He didn't complain if he brought up something. It was something that interfered or made his use of the camera a little bit different or more difficult or something like that. I get that. James, portrait lens would be better. Yeah, but here's the thing. If you're shooting it for a magazine, let's say, or and I have no idea what you're shooting it for, but if it were for a commercial, you can bet that everybody's going to want to see that vehicle without any distortion whatsoever. And finding a lens that can do that. You can do that with a wider lens, but you have to be very careful. What was I going to say? Telephoto lenses are fantastic. but you have to be careful with them as well. And you're going to have some separation from the car, the subject, or whatever, depending on the focal length. Yeah, I don't have a great answer for you, but like I was saying, with the 14 to 24, I have used that at events, and with a lot of the, let's just say, hot rods that are out there, there is a very creative aspect of that lens and using it to photograph from the ground at an angle on some of the vehicles, because it distorts, and the front wheel on that side and the hood and everything else, it elongates the hood if there's a hood involved. It's a cool photo, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, but it isn't something that somebody would say, hey, I want photos of my car to sell it or whatever. And I'm just babbling now. I'll pull up some of my event photos and let you see some of the things at different focal lengths. Some of them represent the vehicle well. Some of them are very cool, but that's not exactly what the car looks like in real life. Unbiased. Yeah, I agree, Charles. And here I don't want to bash the guy that had the Nikon Z9, Charles, but I just feel like he wasn't in touch with what the camera can do and how it needed to be set up. And I hate to say that, because he evidently he's a professional sports shooter or something, but there was just something missing. And if it'd been me up there with Tony, I'd say, oh yeah, it's hit every one of them. Oh, I deleted them all already. Oh yeah, it's just to aggravate him. Yeah, they're from sort of my area. They are up here in Connecticut. They're over closer to the coast. Yeah, Charles, I don't trust the reviews either. Yeah, that's what we're talking about, James, is that test they did. They got a Z9, but they got the owner with it. I found pretty interesting. Yeah, I didn't want to watch it either, Jaspreet, but I had to. Yeah, Ike, I agree. I know a lot of people I had a lot of people tell me, hey, finally, blah, blah, blah. And no, it wasn't fair. I'm sorry. It wasn't a fair. The test may have been fair. Okay. But the way they review and the way he speaks is not fair. That's the problem I have with Tony and with Jared. I know Jared's getting better, but I still see that it's as if they have a desire to destroy Nikon for whatever reason. I don't know. But, that's the way it is. Life's all about that. Yeah, the Northrops, I think I agree. I think some of their credibility has taken a hit. You still got a lot of Nikon shooters that follow them and praise them for everything, and I don't understand that, but, to each his own. See, I hadn't noticed that they knocked Sony, but then again, I haven't watched them, Mike. I haven't watched them for the longest time. I mean, I almost choked clicking on that video, but I just had to see what they were going to say about the Z9. So I didn't know that they've been knocking on Canon and Sony as well. Charles, not sure anyone can master a Z9 at this point. I agree with you. I certainly haven't. It takes a long time to learn a good camera. I agree with you. And I would say Ike's a lot further ahead than I am because he's actually using the camera a lot more right now. Yeah, James, his review was better. I'll stop right there. Yeah, Ike. So with Jared on the technical side, I will agree. I'm not saying that what he brings up is wrong or whatever. I don't like his delivery technique because it's a major issue when it's a Nikon, and it's something to just mention and get past real quick when it's Canon or Sony. Now, I don't watch enough of him to really, that's just the way I feel in the little bit that I see. Every now and then I'll watch something from him, but I feel like they have an axe to grind with Nikon, both of them. I don't know why, but it seems to me they do. Yes, it was better than the Northrops. I agree. Yep, Charles. Yeah, I mentioned that he does have good points. It's just how he states them, because he can state them in a way to push people away from it, or he can state them in a way to show that this isn't unlike other cameras and other things. So he chooses the former. Yeah, Jespre, we'll see what the firmware updates do provide for the Z9, whether it's going to be a lower quality raw or something. I don't know. Is 30 frames a second overkill? No. And I'll say that for a reason. It provides another creative opportunity that you wouldn't necessarily have if it didn't do 130 frames per second. It's not something you use every day. It's not something you use once a month. I don't know when you use it, but it's there for those people that want to use it when it's appropriate, I should say. So it doesn't hurt me at all being in there, even though I may not use it much. I did stand in the kitchen the other day, just rattled through 130 frames per second, shooting through the double glass door to a bird feeder. Yeah, it's a good review, isn't it? I just wanted to see I just wanted to do it 130 frames per second. It's not something I'm going to do. I don't know when I'll do it, but yeah, it's there. It's, it has that capability. It didn't cost any more to add that. So there you go. I don't think it's overkill. Let's see, video camera R3. The best camera said a unit was paid by Canon. They didn't even watch the videos. I missed that, Ike. Now, the last thing I saw them review, the last Canon camera I saw them review was the R, the first mirrorless, Canon mirrorless. And, they were just ecstatic. And this goes back to my point about, you can point something out and you can make it very derogatory, or you can make it like, okay, this is just a consideration. And they had hammered Nikon over the one card slot. When it came to Canon, and Canon did a one card slot, yes, they did mention it, but they got over it as fast as they could. It just became an inconvenience with Canon, whereas with Nikon, it was a showstopper. Does that make sense? That's what aggravates me about them. Jared likes the A1 over the Z9 because it costs more. Oh, man. Let's see. Charles, 12 to 15 frames per second, then you get into high-speed film. Yeah. Yeah, James. And again, I'm not saying that it's something that's going to be used all the time, 130 frames per second, but you've seen some of the clips where they play it as a movie. Now, I'm not saying you're going to do that. You might as well just shoot in, 4K, 8K, whatever. But And I didn't learn this until I started shooting motocross. But with sports, there are certain times and events that maybe you want to use 130 frames per second. I could think of, and this is just off the top of my head, fencing in the Olympics. Sounds ridiculous, right? But to capture a significant moment, to try to do it by just pushing the shutter is just almost impossible. It's pure luck if you happen to capture it, the decisive moment, so to speak. With motocross is where I learned this after hearing it from so many people. I could do even on the D5, I could do a 14 frame per second or 12 frame per second burst, and within that burst, I will find a photo that I would never have captured if I hadn't done that burst. Meaning, everything is, the rider, his focus and what he's doing, where his hands are placed, his feet, and everything else. It sounds ridiculous, but to capture that one frame, shooting a single frame would be impossible for me to do. So you could say the same thing with 130 frames per second. I've seen some of the photos, even at 20 frames per second. 130 is approaching crazy. But a bird with the exact pose that you want, head, eye, wing, feet, whatever, or a bird that's feeding like a waterfowl, water bird, a great blue heron catches a fish. Yeah, there's a good chance you'll catch a decisive moment in that. But at 130 frames per second, you may get that one shot where the frog is actually looking at the camera. It sounds crazy. Instead of just, in his beak or whatever, getting ready to be swallowed. So yeah, there is a place for it. I'm not saying that you have to have it, but if it's there and it could be done, I think it's great. Somebody's going to do something before long with that 130 frames per second. You just wait for the creativity to come out. Somebody's going to find a way to show us how cool that feature is. So, let's see. Mosman. Jared says enough for him to argue that he's not biased, but unfortunately, he says it with a wink. Yeah, it's very obvious what his intent is, at least to me. So here's another part of it. He's found that it's a moneymaker too, Mosman. And I think first and foremost, that's what he's about. Okay. It's the channel and it's his money and making money. And anything you can do, even if it's controversial, but it brings more attention and more revenue, more views and everything else, then obviously if that's your motivation is money and the channel getting larger for more money, because he's not doing it for free, then that's why he says and does the things he does. It's not working out real well for Tony and Chelsea, but it definitely, Jared found a way to make it work. Clickbait titles and all. It's working for him. And you know what? Hats off to Jared. If it's his livelihood, then good on him. Still doesn't make me happy, but I understand why he does it, I guess I should say. Shutter count. Yeah. Worrying about, yeah. To each their own. Absolutely, Charles. I agree. Even though I'll complain about him every now and then. Jared liked the A1. It was based on stills only. You should judge a camera about its overall capabilities. Both stills and video, along with the price. Sony $1,300 more with the grip should be a consideration. Yeah, Jeffrey. Yeah, I agree. It's okay to praise, both and call it like it is on the other. But yeah, you're right. Several creators in TC's comments that said they weren't paid by Canon, and all Tony could say was, "Oh, I didn't see your video." Oh. Yeah. Come on, come on, man. You're going to call everyone that has a camera before you a paid shill without ever watching their content? That's a very angry photog thing to do. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Oh. Well, you know what? If nothing else, those two and Jared provide a lot of entertainment for us. Let's face it. It'd be a boring world in the influencer world without having somebody to point a finger at and say, I don't like that or whatever. And you know what? If they're free to do what they want, I don't have to like it, but they're free to say and do what they want. Man, I got shot at protecting that right quite a few times, I might add. Nikon ambassador took 6,000 photos of Z9 for lighthouse photos when when waves hit it. Okay. Yeah, 6,000. Yeah. Well, you know what? Hey, it's kind of like your car. You can drive it the way you want it. The problem with DNC. Oh man, it'd be interesting. I'm with you though. I'm glad you're holding back. Jaspreet says, "Make it, Ike. Make it." Protector of the realm. Anger sells, drives politics, and now just about everything else these days. Mosman. Hopefully, some new platforms will open up for content creators on the web that monetize positivity over hate. Yeah, I agree with you, Mosman. And I'm not going to be cheesy and say that's why I'm doing this. I'm doing it for the fun of doing it. But again, to try to, and this sounds stupid, level the playing field, meaning, try to give Nikon its share of good and positivity. Again, without bashing every other camera out there. I doubt anybody's going to send me any products to review, so I don't have to worry about that. And I don't know that I would like that because I do like those that do their reviews and talk about they weren't paid and they can say whatever they want. But it seems like they're always very positive about the product they're reviewing. And I find that a bit, strange. So tired of the hate. Yep. Jeffrey's getting a Z9 tomorrow for those of you that may have come in late. I know he's going to put it through the paces, so we're going to get to hear from him as well. Yeah, Nikon doesn't have a big influencer on YouTube right now that I know of. I'm talking at the million subscriber mark and up. So I'd love to see somebody get raised to that level. We're going to push you up to 1 million subscribers so you can get on there and hate on everybody else and talk about Nikon. Let's see. Well, I had said it before. You get a lot of these channels that talk about Canon and Sony that they never even mention Nikon, and I find that a bit strange too. Get them, Mike. Just know what you're doing before you do it. I got your back as best I can because I share no love with a lot of those folks. Yeah, I would, Jeffrey. I agree. Trust the reviews. If people bought the product themselves, if offered it, don't take it for free. Um, I know that I don't know. You've reviewed a few things. Has there been anything that you've turned down just because you knew you couldn't put that better spin on it or whatever? I know that Peter Lindgren talks about that. If he's actually going to review it, he sees enough potential that it's worth his time to do it. But he says that there have been things that he's just said, I'm not reviewing it. You're not, he didn't say this, but I'm thinking he's thinking in his mind, you don't want me to review this. And I think that's a great approach to have. But yeah, hang on, I got Mr. Nikan. All right, just message here from Mr. Nikan. He's not in our chat today, but maybe this will explain why. Oh, okay. So he may be traveling soon, is what he's saying. So some business related stuff. All right. So I only review stuff that I could personally take advantage of. Okay, good on you, Ike. That's what we're talking about. But I think a lot of people will accept anything that's sent to them. And even though they say they're not paid for this or whatever, and they can say whatever they want, there are a few people that never have anything derogatory to say about these items that they're reviewing. And I'm not saying you should find, but be an honest broker, because people are looking at a review to determine whether they want to take a chance on a certain item or not. So, that's all we need. Okay, reading your comments there, Ike. Let's see, 85 for the Nikon Z mount. Okay. You have 3 of them, yeah. Evan Ranft. I don't know him. I'm gonna have to look him up. Man, James, good question. I didn't wear glasses, believe it or not, until about 4 years ago, and they drive me crazy. I didn't grow up wearing them, so I'm not used to them, and they absolutely drive me crazy. And I'm always on the fence. Am I going to set the diopter to shoot without glasses, or am I going to try to shoot with glasses? And I'm not comfortable shooting with glasses. It just seems like it's a pain trying to look through the viewfinder. And then if I set the diopter so I don't need my glasses to shoot, then I got to put glasses on to review the photo. Man, you just got to find the happy medium where you want to be. You can do it either way, but I haven't settled on one over the other yet. And then, oh, by the way, shooting outside events in the summer with the sun, I want to I have prescription sunglasses, and well, that's just a whole other adventure. So, I'll let others chime in that wear glasses there too. There you go, Mosman. Add a gold ring to the Young Nuo products or lenses. I'm going to wind up doing the same thing, Charles, because I didn't grow up with glasses, and they just drive me crazy. It's so hard to, over the last 4 years of trying to get used to wearing them. And how do you keep glasses clean, man? I mean, you would think I was rolling around in grease or something. I can't keep them clean. Yeah, you can adjust the diopter in the viewfinder for whatever setting you want, whether with glasses, without glasses, or whatever. D780 for creating YouTube videos. I didn't even know when the D780 was released. Double surprise. Yeah, the 780 passed without any fanfare, and from the what I've heard from those that have actually used it, it's a pretty good camera. Wow, been going 2.5 hours. I'm gonna have to get out of here pretty soon, folks. I don't know what all I got left on my plate as far as stuff in the house. Tired. I got to get out of this house, folks. For those that don't know, I'm trying to get this together, get this house on the market, and get out of here. We're going south. We can't afford to retire up here in Connecticut. There you go, Ike, and good on you, man. I agree with your reasoning there on the young nuo, because there are people that it may appeal to, and you're right. Get it out there in front of an audience and let them choose. You just you do your review the way you do. Ted, how you doing? Yeah, James, I used to be down in DC quite often, but I since quit contracting with that organization, so I don't get down there anymore. Hey, Jeff, good to see you in here, man. Yep, see you Saturday, and send me an email or something, whatever. As soon as you get that Z9, tell me what you think. Move to Virginia. I like Virginia. It's all right. Not Northern Virginia. I spent way too much time up there in Northern Virginia. I don't like the hassle up there. But yeah, Virginia's a beautiful state. Now we're going to Tennessee, so that's close enough. You can visit Tennessee, Ike. Somewhere north of Nashville, between Nashville and the Kentucky border. Digital Photo Club of Annapolis. Will do, James. Will do. And I appreciate everybody being in here today. And I hope some people just joined. Maybe they couldn't watch because they're busy with something else, but you can listen. That's always great. I know that I always have more people in here than people in the chat section. That's okay too. That's all right. Well, I am going to ask though. I am going to ask finally, and for those of you that do get in here and you have a chance to share the channel with others, be it verbally or whatever, and subscribe and like. I do want to up my ante on the subscriptions, and that's for a reason that I think will benefit the channel. I go and I invite people to come in here as guests, and I know they go and look at the channel and go, well, I don't know how much visibility I'm going to get, being on that channel. And it's a shame, but that's how people are. So, and I understand it too. The other thing is it opens up possibilities for me within YouTube to do other things, polls and cards and other things. I don't care about the monetization. Yeah, if that happens somewhere down the road, that'd be great, but that's not my goal. It's more for the algorithm, as Ike will talk about, how it can support you or let you down. But I definitely would like to grow a little bit, and I want to have all kinds of different people that come to the channel. It's just a great chat. It gives everybody a chance to share your opinion. Yeah, I may sound like I disagree with it sometimes, and maybe I do, but I don't care, and you shouldn't either. That's what it's all about, is everybody gets to share their opinion. And it's always fun. So if you would, pass it around. Let me drum up the subscriptions a little bit and see if I can't get YouTube to turn loose of some of the things that I'm not privy to yet. And we'll continue to make it happen. And I'm going to continue. I want the continuity to be here. So again, I've locked on to, I think, the noon Eastern time on Wednesday. Have a good chat. And then Saturday night, and the Saturday night was based on some of the comments a lot of you folks had made. I still find it to be maybe a difficult night of the week, especially we get into summertime. I doubt people want to be sitting in front of a computer watching a live stream, but we'll stick with that for right now, and hopefully everybody can make it. So Saturday night, we will be live again, 9 p.m. Eastern time, which is 0100 GMT. No, 0200 GMT. I'm sorry about that. I wish the time zone was the same around the world, but that's not physically possible, is it? So now splitting it up in an afternoon and a night live stream, maybe it'll give more people a chance to visit. Frame Voyager, get over there, check out his page. Yes, he's a black magic shooter, does all video. But again, the playlist that he has, camera news, it's entertaining and it's well done. And there's some information in there. So he'll be on Saturday night, and not so much to promote black magic cameras, but if he wants to, he can, because he's a guest, and that's fine. But to promote his own site, yes. But to help us out with some video questions, and you guys that have video questions, this is going to be the time to ask. He may not be able to answer all of them, but he can share with us his knowledge, his experience, and also maybe provide us with a little bit of motivation through sharing his creativity, his process for creating. So that said, I don't have anything else, guys. Let's see. Looking at the last few comments here. Sometimes I should put 5 to 10 minutes of video. Yeah, and maybe Saturday night will be the motivator I need to actually sit down and make that happen. I just need to sit down with Final Cut Pro and be able to do that. But you're right. I agree. Yeah, and we are regular Joes. That's the other thing. I like having those that are experts in here, but all too often they seem to look down at us. So we kind of have to help ourselves out, and we're going to continue to do that. Thank you, sir. I think that's I appreciate that too, Charles. Yeah, I enjoy spending time with you all. I really do. Yeah, and that's it. I think that if you had to sum this channel up in one thing, it's just photography, videography in general. Chat, feel free to express your opinion. All right, guys. Thanks again for stopping in. Look forward to seeing you all Saturday night if you can make it. And hey, spread the word. Nikon's not dead. And we don't hate other cameras. Okay. All right. Have a great rest of the afternoon, rest of the week. And again, see you guys Saturday night. And